Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make are chocolate marshmallow cookies. If you like chocolate, and who doesn't, and marshmallow, and then put a great cookie base on the bottom of it, well, this cookie is to die for. It really is a fantastic cookie that I know everybody's going to hopefully enjoy once you bake them and try this recipe. Okay, so let's get started. First, we're going to start off with 1 cup of shortening. Now, there are some of you folks out there that don't like the solid shortening, but this particular recipe, to get the quality and the crispness of the cookie, really does come from the shortening. So this might not be the recipe for you if you don't want to use solid shortening. I know I'll probably get the question, well, can I use butter? Well, I have to tell you that when I make these cookies, I specifically use shortening. So I won't be able to tell you other than you to try it yourself. So let's put a cup of solid shortening into my mixer. Now, you can certainly use your hand mixer if you don't want to use your stand mixer. But for the videos, I find this a lot quicker and faster. So I'm just going to start to cream and break up that shortening. Okay. Alrighty. And there we go. Sorry, I had to step away for a moment there. All right, the next thing that we're going to be putting is 2 cups of granulated sugar, a little at a time, to the creamed shortening. Now, I am going to warn you about the sound because the mixer can get loud. Spend a few minutes to cream those, okay? It might take you 2 minutes, it might take you 3 minutes, depending whether you're using a hand or a stand-up mixer, and the speed that you select. We're also going to be putting in 2 eggs, 1 at a time, and I've had it room temperature. What you'll want to do is you'll want to beat that till it's really nice and smooth and fluffy. And again, that's going to take you probably a couple minutes or 2 or 3 minutes. Now I'm going to raise my speed, warn you about the sound, and just beat it a little bit longer. Okay. Now, let's work on our dry ingredients. What you're going to be needing and using is 3½ cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to put a teaspoon of baking soda into that. You're also going to be putting a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm going to grab a spoon real quick here. And then just lightly stir it in, mix it in a little bit, that type of thing. Now, you're going to alternate it with a cup of milk. So we're going to put a little bit of dry in and a little bit of milk, and you get the drift, okay? Now, by the way, if you do like chopped nuts, this is a great recipe for walnuts, pecans, pistachios, whatever kind of chopped nuts that you like. And I would suggest to put about 1/2 cup. I'm not putting nuts in this particular mixture because it's going to a family that the child is allergic to nuts, so I'm certainly not going to put them in. But try this recipe with nuts. It really is delicious, and without the nuts, it's still fantastic. So we're going to start to put the dry in. And start adding the milk. And now Now you could probably go a little bit faster than I'm doing it for the video, but I want to be able to speak to you while we're doing it. And we'll add some more milk and more dry. All right, and that's the rest of the flour mixture, or dry mixture, I should say. And now I'm going to raise the speed, so I'll warn you about the sound. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly take my paddle out of here. Just try to take off some of the excess. There we go. I'll lay that aside. And now I'm just going to check the sides and the bottom of my bowl just to make sure, give it a nice mix and check it out, and then I can show you what the batter looks like. And this is how it will look. It really is a beautiful, well, like an off-white or a little bit of vanilla color. White, probably vanilla would be better to say the color, okay? It's not a real heavy batter, as you can see. It's very creamy, very light. Okay, now you can use your parchment paper. You can lightly grease your pans or cookie trays. Now, I'm using this size of a scoop, okay? If you want the cookies to even go further, you can use your smaller one. That's usually about a teaspoon or so. But I like these cookies to be larger in size. With this particular scoop, I get around 4 dozen of the cookies. So you can imagine if you use the much smaller one at a teaspoon, how much you're going to get. But again, I like the size to be larger. Okay, so then what you'll want to do is just, of course, put them out on your tray. Now, they are going to spread out a little bit, so give them a couple inch room, okay, when they are baking. Now, generally speaking, if you are going to bake the larger ones, they could range you anywhere from 8 to even 12 minutes or so if you're baking the large ones, as I am, and the ones you're going to see in a moment. If you find that you're making them smaller, they're probably going to come up maybe around that 7 or 8 minutes. So watch them carefully. You don't want to burn them. Now, once that you check on the cookie, okay, and let's say your 8 minutes or your 10 minutes is up, depending whether you did the small, the teaspoon, or the larger scoop as this is, then what I want you to do is to get some marshmallows, and I want to show you, you'll need the large marshmallows. Now, what I have are these wonderful marshmallows that I like to use for graham crackers and chocolate. You can see how big they are. If you're gonna, and I like the marshmallow to be a lot. I want the person, when they bite into this cookie, they're going to get a lot of marshmallows. So I tend to like these large ones. And what I do is, here, let me grab this wax paper. I actually cut them in half because they are so big, okay? And then I cut them again. So I actually get 4 pieces out of that large marshmallow. Now, if you don't want to use the extra large ones as I have, just use the regular round large ones and cut them in half. Now, once that cookie comes out of the oven, that it's baked, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to lay one of these little marshmallows on the top of it, of the cookie, and then you're going to return it to the oven for about a minute or 2, just to give it time so the cookie, the marshmallow, can bake, melt over it, okay? And I want to show you that, because this is how they're going to look once that they're put on a cooling rack. Okay, so once again, you've baked the cookie. Now you've put your marshmallow on. You put it back in the oven from a minute or two for it to melt. What I like to do is that when it does come out, I actually just lightly press on it because I like a flatter finish, but you don't have to do that. But you'll want to put these on a cooling rack till they're cool, that you can touch them and they're no longer warm or they're not sticky, okay? And then what you want to do is to have chocolate. And what you can use, of course, you can use chocolate bars, you can use your chocolate chips, you know, whether you want to use the semi-sweet, the milk chocolate, or you want to use the dark chocolate ones, whatever type of chocolate chip that you like, and melt it in a warmer. Probably, it depends, you know, on this one I did about 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, and I put a tablespoon of solid shortening in it to thin it out, okay? And it's in my warmer. I'm just, stirring it right now to make sure. Now, you make your chocolate as thin or thick as you want. Of course, if you make it thinner, it's going to cover more cookies for you and that type of thing, all right? And then what I do is I just take the cookie, and you can actually dip it in, or you can just drizzle it on the top, and then on the cooling rack, just put them till the chocolate sets up. You could put it in the refrigerator if you want to hurry it up a little bit, that kind of thing. Okay, I don't dip the whole cookie. You certainly can, it's just a lot more work. And then just set them down on a plate or a cooling rack till your chocolate hardens, okay? So you're going to do that. So once again, just as a really quick reminder, you're going to bake the cookie, pull the warm cookies out of the oven, place your marshmallow on top, and put it back in the oven for 1 or 2 minutes, just so that marshmallow gets soft, okay? So let me wash my hands quickly. And I know someone's going to write and say, well, did you serve that cookie that you touched when you didn't wash your hands? No, that cookie is not going to be eaten. Basically, I'm throwing that out. Okay, because I really do believe that you've got to really watch cross-contamination when you're baking or cooking. All right, now let me grab the cookies. I set them up in the refrigerator, and this is how they're really going to come out, okay? You're going to have a nice golden brown on the bottom, okay? Then you'll have that nice chocolate on the top. And then I'm going to cut into one to show you what it looks like. And there you have it. You're going to have this nice, this is a crisp, it's a hard shell cookie. And then you're going to have that marshmallow inside, and then you've got that lovely chocolate on the top. And as you can see, when you break it open, how really gooey and really how nice it's going to be to have this cookie filled with marshmallow. It really is a great little tasting cookie. I think you're really going to like it if you give it a try. I want to tell you that, the ingredients and the recipe will not be below the video due to so many people taking my videos and what have you. And it's just not worth the time to do that anymore. I do ask you to please watch me on YouTube, because I always say, if you try this recipe, well, leave a comment. I'd like to hear from you, and I do. But if you're on another site, I'm not getting those messages. I'm not getting those questions from you, and I can't answer it, and it's pretty frustrating. So please watch me solely on YouTube. If you're so inclined and you want to subscribe to the channel, boy, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to ring the bell or even give me a like. I appreciate every person that takes the time to watch the video or jot me a line or a question. I appreciate all of you very, very much. So I want to thank you again for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and give these chocolate marshmallow cookies a try. I think you're really going to like them. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.